Civil War, here we come. Korra, whew! I don't really know where this is gonna go, but aside from that, guys, what's up? Shark's back again, for another video here today to do my review on Korra, Legend of Korra, Season 2, Book 2, Episode 4. And, wow, this week's episode of, Legend of Korra was pretty insane, I'm not gonna lie. And just a lot of throwbacks to the original, okay? First and foremost, let me just bring up what this episode was on. So basically, we focused around, Tenzin finds... Shit, I forgot her name now. Not Milo. Iki. Wow. Yeah, he finds Iki in this cave, and they're full of bisons, okay? And one thing I remember from the original series was, the whole nature element, because I remember back then, the aeronomads were more adaptable to nature, and, Aang was the only one. Well, not just her. Well, actually, her. Not just Aang, but also you have to remember Toph, too, because remember when she was in the cave, and she, saw those badger moles, and she said how they were able to earthbend, and that's how she was able to learn her earthbending. So, it was kind of like a small throwback to that, and I thought that was wow, that was actually really, really cool to see. It's not just only that, though. And then we also kind of get some stuff. By the way, it's Korra's elements also, too, kind of just a lot. Just a lot, okay? So, remember how I said last week's episode I really liked where the whole stuff was going with Tenzin and his family. In this episode, I'm liking where this is going furthermore. Now, let me say one thing, though. With Tenzin's side, okay? I just want to get his out of the way, because it's pretty basic, and it's still stuck on my mind at the moment, but the whole thing with Boomy and, talking to his dad's statue, I thought, I was like, wow, because I actually really wanted to know, exactly what went down between Aang and Boomy. Boomy doesn't hate Aang, but I kind of gets you wondering, what was their relationship like? And not only just that, but we also kind of see how him and Kai interact, and how Kai gives him a hug because she knows exactly when Boomy needs a hug because he's feeling all down and all that stuff, and how he's not the only bender and stuff, and he's trying to protect the world. So that was cool. I really like that. And we kind of got a little bit more into Boomy's character. We kind of got a little bit more into Boomy's character, which I'm kind of starting to like. I like the fact, because last week we kind of got a little bit of Kaya. Now in this week we're kind of getting a little bit more of Boomy. So that was cool there. And then when all the siblings get together, Iki, Milo, and Shinora, and how they're gonna go, play airball, and then, same thing, well, not the same thing happens with, Tenzin, Kaya, and Boomy, because they're obviously older, but how, they all apologize to one another. That was cool, and the fact that Kaya bringing up a picture of them when they were younger, oh my god, nostalgic. That's gonna be the title of this video, okay? Nostalgic all the way. The nostalgia feels back to the, Avatar: The Last Airbender. And by the way, it's not just only that, okay? It just gets really, really... It's cool because, and now we are also kind of getting to see what happens with Korra's side of the view too, because ultimately that's what happens during Tenzin's side. But Korra's side, we get the whole thing with the trial, and we find out the whole thing was a setup by Unalog. We find out that the jury, the judge he was pretty much following his orders, and pretty much we also find out that his, Korra's dad's, we found out that Unalog was the one that banished Korra's dad. So, that on itself is just whoa. Okay, there's some more stuff. And, granted, I saw this stuff coming as soon as episode 1 came, because I'm just yeah, this guy's not trustworthy. This guy really is not trustworthy. And I'm actually kind of glad that they kind of cleared this up now, instead of, kind of dragging this out later on, and it's oh my god, it's a fuck? So, ultimately, right then and there, I really, really liked the fact that, we kind of knew sooner or later Korra was going to find, and I'm glad she kind of finds out now that, hey, Unalog is doing all this stuff, and, causing this big shift in the Civil War. And I really like the whole fact, how she tells her uncle, look, if you do something about it, I'm not going to stop. So, and she pushes her uncle out of the way, she heads over to the ship, and she saves everyone. And by the way, this is another throwback to the original, but the fact that, remember how Katara and Sokka's dad kind of left the village while he was taking care of the stuff in the war? It's kind of like a reference to that almost, except it's the other way around. You're having Korra leave the village and telling her dad there's some stuff I gotta take care of. And I'm actually kind of glad that we're kind of moving out from the water village. Not the water tribe. Not saying that I was bored of it, but you kind of you can kind of get the feeling like we've been in this section before with the last Airbender So see, but it was still a big nostalgia feel seeing kind of referencing back to the whole situation with Korra leaving the the water tribe, and it was almost reminiscing to Sokka and Katara's dad leaving the village, except this time it's shifted around with Korra instead of her dad leaving. So that was cool, right? And again, seeing the picture of Bumi, Kaya, and Tenzin when they were little with Katara and Aang. I mean, wow, this is just it was nostalgia feels. That's all I gotta say. It was a really big nostalgia feel with this week's episode of Legend of Korra. But I mean, that's not the only thing that happened in this episode. I also like the fact that Bolin broke up with Eska, which by the way, the face she made kind of reminded me of Azula. Zula 2.0, and that's exactly the first thought that came to my mind as soon as I was like, oh shit, I don't think, if this is where this is gonna go, and Eska becomes an antagonist and kind of stalks them around, oh my god, you pretty much created an Azula 2.0, and by the way, I mentioned this before, but I kind of see, Bolin and Asami getting together. That's just kind of my whole take on that, but I'm not gonna get too much into that situation, but we'll see where this book goes. And so far, and by the way, this is probably the best episode in this arc. This book. So far, it's the best episode in this book. And ultimately, I'm really interested to see where this is going to go next week because, quite honestly, this week's episode was major. I mean, to me, it was all about nostalgia. That's really where the episode really spiked up for me. While the main storyline was also great. Korra finding out, hey, her uncle's behind all this shit, so I really liked where that was going, and ultimately, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna see you guys next week for Legend of Korra episode 5, and I'm pretty sure things are gonna get pretty hectic there. But aside from that, guys, comment below, let me know, what do you guys think of Legend of Korra episode 2? Not 2, episode 4. Were you satisfied? Were you not satisfied? Any particular gripes with the episode, or were you overall satisfied with this week's episode of Legend of Korra? And guys, just thumbs up, nostalgia feels, Korra finding out her uncle and all this stuff, which by the way, we already knew that was going to happen. And not just that, but also just kind of the whole bondage, the whole family bonding thing. Because ultimately, that was another big theme within the Avatar: The Last Airbender was it was all about family. So that's also what I kind of liked about this episode too. So, other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm Shirag. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more Legend of Korra episode reviews, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.